Hello, welcome to the second episode of Android tutorial. In this episode, we are going to learn about how to working with multiple activities in the same application. So, in the previous application, which is an Hello World application, we have only one activity, but you can have more than one activity on the same application. So, in this episode, I'm going to show you how to working with more than one activity on the same project. So here I'm going to add two more activities. So I already told you each activity is associated with two files. First one is an XML file that will handle the GUI part, and second one is a Java class file that will handle the logic of the application. So for each if you want to add a new activity, you have to add two files. First one is an XML file and second one is a Java class file. So first here I'm going to add a new Java class file. So right click the package and select the new option and select Java class. And here I name the class as second class, second activity. Click OK. Now we have a new class in our package called second activity. Now we have to create a new layout for the new activity. So right click the layout folder and select new option and choose layout resource file. Okay, so here I name the file as second layout. Always use small letters because it represent an XML file, it's a layout file, so always use small case letter. So I name the file as second layout. It is of linear layout and click OK. Now we got a new layout inside the layout folder. Now we have to connect the newly created layout and the newly created class file. So open the newly created Java class. So this class represent an activity, so we have to extend activity. So here you need to override some lifecycle method of activity. You have to override the onCreate method. So here I am going to override the onCreate method. Now we have to connect the new Java class and the layout file. So you have to call a method called setContentView. And now the layout file is available on the layout folder. So use the resource as r dot. It is available on the layout folder. So select layout and the layout file name is second layout. Okay. Now we create a new activity. We add a new Java class and we add a new XML file, layout file, and we connect that layout file with the Java class. So now here I am going to add one more activity. So again create a new Java class and I name the class as third activity and click OK. Now we have to create layout file for the activity. So create new and select layout resource file and I name the layout as third layout and click OK. Now we got a new layout in the layout folder with the name third layout. Now we have to connect the newly created layout with the class file. So open the class file. This represent an activity, so extends activity. Now we have to override the onCreate method and connect with the layout. So call the method setContentView r dot layout dot, the layout name is third layout. Okay, now we add two new activities to this application. And if you add a new activity into your application, you have to register the newly created activity inside an XML file called Android manifest .xml file. So open the manifest folder and open the Android manifest.xml file. You have to register all the newly created activity inside this XML file. So for registering this, inside the application tag, create a new tag called activity and specify the activity name. You have to specify the class name and put a dot operator before the class name. The newly created activities are second activity and third activity. I register the first activity, so Android name is equal to second activity. Now close the tag. Okay, now we have to add one more, the third activity, and instead of second activity it is third activity. Okay, now we created another two activities and we register the newly created activity with the Android manifest.xml file. Now we have to invoke these two activities, so go to the main layout file. It is first layout. So we have already a button in the layout file. Go to the XML version and I change the text of the button. First I change the text of the button. Open first activity. So whenever user click this button, we have to open the first activity. Now we have to create another button. I copy this button and paste it here. Okay, now we have to change the text. Here is the second button and change the text into open second. Sorry, I changed this into first text into open second activity. Open second activity and change the last button text into open third activity, because the first activity is the main activity. Okay, so we create two buttons on the XML file. First activity, we have added two buttons. Whenever user click the first button, we have to open the second activity, and when user click the open third activity button, we have to open the third activity. Okay, and we use the same on click method for these two buttons. The on click method is show greetings. We use the same method for these two buttons. Okay, so now we have to invoke the newly created activities. For that, go to the on click method. The on click method is show greetings. This is the on click method for the two buttons. So I remove all the code inside this. Okay, so if the button text is equal to open second activity, we have to invoke the second activity. If the button text is open third activity, we have to invoke the third activity. That is the logic. So I copy this one. I create a string here, string button text, and button text equal to, first we have to find out which button is clicked by the user, whether if it is open second activity or open third activity. So we have to find out it first. So for that, we get the text on the button from this object, from this view object. So it represent a button. So typecast this object into button. It is view dot call the method get text and convert that one into string. Okay, so by executing this statement, we will get the text on the button in this variable called button text. So now we have to check it out using if loop. So I start an if loop. If this one button text dot equals if it is equal to open second activity, we have to call the second activity. And else if it is equal to open third activity, we have to invoke the third activity. And else if button text dot equals open third activity, in that case we have to invoke the third activity. That is our target. Okay, so in Android you have to create an object of intent to start a new activity. So the intent class is responsible for invoking a new activity in Android. So here I am going to create an object of intent. I name it as intent equal to new intent. Here you have to provide two arguments. First one is a context object. I put it as this because the activity is a subclass of context class, so I name it as this. Now we have to specify the class name for the activity. So the second activity class name is second activity, so I name it as dot second activity. That is the class name. And specify the extension dot class. Why this is second activity dot class, this one. Now we have to start the activity, so you have to call a method called start activity and pass the intent object. So if user click the open second activity button, it will open up the second activity, and if user click the open third activity button, in that case we have to create the intent object with the third activity. Okay, now we complete all the coding. Now we can test the application. So now I am going to run the application. Okay, now the application is available on the virtual device. Now I am going to click the first button, open second activity. This will open the second activity, but there is no view components on the second activity. We have to add that one. So go to the second activity layout file. Which one? Go to the second layout file, and here I am going to add a text view. We have to identify whether it is the second one or not. So here I am going to add a text view with some message. Welcome to second activity. Okay, now again go to the third activity layout. Here also I am going to add a larger text view. So select the larger text view and change the text into welcome to third activity. Okay, again now we can run the application. I run the application again. Okay, now again I am going to click the first button, open second activity. Now it's open the second activity. Welcome to the second activity. Click back button. Now I click the open third activity. It will open the third activity now. This is how we working with multiple activity on a same Android application. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.